Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dongsheng. On December 9th, NetEase, a popular Chinese portal, reported that a number of local governments are going through pay cut for civil servants. The first wave of pay cut will be felt in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Guangdong, Fujian, and Shanghai. The significance being these provinces are the wealthy municipalities. In China, wage is just a small part of civil servants' annual income. The majority portion of income is in terms of subsidies, and the current cut targets subsidies. For example, in Guangdong province, local government has issued a temporary freeze of subsidy. Civil servants' subsidy will be frozen for 2 months, teachers will be frozen for 1 month. In Shenzhen, new residents with bachelor's degree would normally receive 15,000 renminbi move-in allowance, and those with a graduate degree would receive 25,000. However, these allowances have also been cancelled, despite Shenzhen being one of the most fiscal sound municipalities in China. On Sunday, November 28th, China's annual National Civil Service exam kicked off with a record-breaking registration of 2.1 million people competing to become one of the 31,200 civil servants. That is 35% higher than last year's 1.57 million. In other words, there were 68 people on average competing for one position in the exam. A postal service position in Nangari Prefecture, Tibet, has attracted nearly 20,000 examinees by the deadline of the registration. Since 2009, the number of enrollments has exceeded 1 million, but this year it has surpassed 2 million for the first time. The annual National Civil Service exam has long been a big draw for Chinese job seekers. Government positions are regarded as providing an iron rice bowl of both security and money. This year's surge in numbers comes amid a slowdown in economic growth caused by a large part by the COVID-19 pandemic and a high youth jobless rate. China posted only 4.9% year-on-year growth in the third quarter, down from 7.9% in the second. And the job security is now back on top of the government agenda. In late November, Premier Li Keqiang re-emphasized the focus on ensuring security in employment, people's livelihoods, and market entities. It is subtle because such a government catchphrase has not been seen for a while. In the past, government often uses such catchphrases when it launches policies to support the economy, and China does need it dearly. While the job market overall has recovered significantly from the fallout of the coronavirus pandemic, unemployment among 16 to 24-year-olds has been consistently higher than the national average. How high? 14.2% in October, nearly 3 times higher than the national average of 4.9%. A record number of graduates this year has increased unemployment pressure for this age group, while the government's crackdown on the after-school tutoring sector exacerbated the problem, because after-school tutoring traditionally employed tens of thousands of graduates. Now, even the civil servants' pay has been cut. In early December, a civil servant in the city of Hangzhou posted on Weibo that this year's bonus and subsidy would be cut, and her salary was cut 25%, a total of about 50,000 yuan. Netizens in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai also posted similar information, that their bonus and subsidies were cut about 30%. As a matter of fact, pay cut and cancel of bonus and subsidy started last April and has been gaining speed towards year-end. The Central Commission for Discipline Inspection is equivalent to Internal Investigation Department in the U.S. In Henan province, some civil servant posted that the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection said that it is not a violation of discipline for civil servants to make extra money to work as a delivery or DD driver like an Uber driver in the US. Even though back in 2016, in Anhui Province, the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection punished the civil servants who worked as DD driver. It is evident that China's economy is losing momentum and it is losing fast. It might explain why Beijing is ramping up the effort to hide data. China's Communist Party has long maintained a tight control over information, and the effort has intensified over the past year. A new data security law has made it harder for foreign companies and investors to get information, including about supplies and financial statements. Since the law was passed, companies in mainland China have grown more reluctant to share information with multinationals in strategic sectors like finance, healthcare, public transportation, and infrastructure. Authorities are ambiguous about what constitutes sensitive information, adding certainty to Chinese companies over what they can share with foreign partners. Wall Street Journal reported that in early November, global ship tracking platforms began to notice disruptions to the flow of location data of vessels in Chinese waters. Some local providers had stopped sharing detailed information of ship positions, citing the new data security law. A Chinese state media report on November 1st described a nationwide crackdown on local providers of such data, citing national security implications. Other closely watched gauge of coal demand, such as stockpiles at Chinese utilities, had gone dark beginning summer 2020. The dearth of data became especially problematic this fall when surging coal prices sparked an energy crisis. One long-time coal analyst in Singapore said that the extent of the power crisis took traders and analysts by surprise because of the lack of timely information about coal demand and use. One of the most dramatic reversals in Beijing's openness has been in academia, once seen as a beacon of engagement between China and the West. China has steadily closed off Western scholars' access to research archives and made it more difficult for Chinese universities to host international conferences. In August, China's Ministry of Education published data showing that it had terminated 286 cooperative programs between Chinese and foreign universities in 2018 and 2019. Saying some of the programs didn't meet the teaching and instructional standards of the ministry. Schools in the UK, Russia, and the US had the most number of programs cut, and computer science, biotechnology, international economy, and trade were the courses most affected, according to an archived version of an official website from September. A survey published by the Beijing-based The Foreign Correspondents Club of China found that nearly 40% of correspondents surveyed said that the sources were harassed, questioned, or detained for speaking with them in 2020, up from 25% the year before. China's government has moved aggressively to remove or hide data that foreign governments and news organizations have used to highlight alleged human rights abuses in the country. This past summer, China's online court document database was purged of documents related to speech-related offenses, according to an activist who had used the database to track how the party punishes dissent on social media. Companies and governments worldwide are left trying to figure out how to engage with a country whose economy is approaching America's in size and whose military is becoming more assertive. So, what is Beijing hiding? I don't know for sure, but I am certain CCP is much weaker than it appears. Weakness is what a CCP is trying to hide. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.